Have you ever found yourself grumbling about a new rule, wondering where it even came from? Or maybe you felt a surge of pride seeing your community pull together, following guidelines to achieve a common goal. This push and pull, this dance between skepticism and obedience, is something Europeans know all too well. It's a story as old as the continent itself. But today, it's playing out in a fascinating, and sometimes frustrating, new arena, the European Union. Let's be honest, authority is a tricky concept. We need rules to function as a society, to keep things fair and safe. But who gets to make those rules? And what happens when we don't agree with them? For centuries, this question was answered within the borders of nations. A German answered to Berlin, a Spaniard to Madrid, a Pole to Warsaw. But now, there's another layer, Brussels. The European Union was born from the ashes of war, a grand project to link nations, so tightly that conflict would become unthinkable. It started with coal and steel, simple economic ties, but over the decades it's grown into something much more complex. We have a single market, a common currency for many, and a vast body of laws that touch everything from the curve of a banana to the data on your smartphone. This has brought incredible benefits, peace, prosperity, and the freedom to travel, work, and live almost anywhere on the continent. But it's also created a new kind of authority, one that can feel distant and impersonal. This is where the skepticism starts to creep in. People look at the massive buildings of the European Commission and Parliament in Brussels and see a bureaucracy, a machine churning out regulations. They hear about directives and legislative procedures that are mind-numbingly complex. It can feel like decisions are being made by people we didn't elect, in a language we don't understand. And when those decisions impact our daily lives, it's natural to ask, who gave them the right? This feeling is the seed of Euroscepticism. It's not always about rejecting the idea of Europe. Often, it's a frustration with how the EU works. It's the farmer who feels strangled by environmental regulations, the small business owner struggling with paperwork, or the citizen who feels their national identity is being diluted. They see a tension between the sovereignty of their own country and the centralized power of the EU. They worry that the unique character of their nation, its traditions and its way of doing things is being flattened by a one-size-fits-all approach. But here's the other side of the coin: obedience. Why do most of us, most of the time, follow the rules, even the ones from Brussels? The answer is trust. We obey when we believe the rules are legitimate and that they are enforced fairly. Legitimacy comes from feeling that the process is democratic and that the goals are worthwhile. Are these rules designed to protect our health, our environment, our rights? Are they helping our economy grow? If the answer is yes, we're more likely to get on board. Fairness is just as crucial. If we see that the rules apply to everyone equally, from the biggest corporation to the smallest individual, from the most powerful member state to the least, our trust in the system grows. But if we perceive double standards, if it seems like some get to bend the rules while others are held strictly to account, that trust erodes, and skepticism turns into outright opposition. Think about the response to major crises. During the financial crash of 2008, or the more recent energy crisis, EU-level decisions had a massive impact. Some countries received bailouts with strict conditions, leading to protest and a feeling of being dictated to by others. Debates over burden sharing for refugees or coordinating vaccine procurement have shown just how fragile this balance of trust can be. When a decision is made, citizens in one country might see it as a necessary act of solidarity, while those in another see it as an unfair imposition. So, the relationship between Europeans and authority isn't a simple case of us versus them. It's a constant negotiation. We are not just passive subjects of the EU. We are its citizens. We elect members of the European Parliament to represent us. Our national governments, which we also elect, sit on the European Council and shape the big decisions. We have courts, like the European Court of Justice, to ensure laws are applied fairly. The problem is that these channels can feel incredibly remote, and MEP might represent millions of people across a vast region. The inner workings of the Council are often shrouded in secrecy. This democratic deficit, whether real or perceived, is the EU's greatest challenge. It has the space where misinformation can thrive, and where populist politicians can easily paint Brussels as the enemy. How can we bridge this gap? It starts with transparency. The EU needs to get much better at explaining what it does and why it does it in clear, simple terms. We need more than just press releases and technical documents. We need genuine conversation. We need to see the faces and hear the stories of the people making the decisions, and they need to hear ours. It also requires a sense of shared purpose. The founding vision of peace and prosperity is still powerful, but it needs to be updated for the 21st century. In a world facing climate change, global pandemics, and the rise of powerful authoritarian states, what is the unique value of Europe? Can we work together to become a leader in green technology? Can we collectively defend our democratic values? When people believe they are part of a meaningful project, they are more willing to accept the compromises that come with it. And finally, it's about flexibility. The EU has often been criticized for its rigidity. Maybe it's time to embrace the idea of a multi-speed Europe, where countries can choose different levels of integration on different issues. This could help ease the tension between national sovereignty and collective action, allowing the Union to move forward without forcing every member into a mold that doesn't fit. The story of Europeans and authority is not over. In fact, it's entering its most critical chapter. It's a story we are all a part of, whether we're filling out a form, casting a vote, or just having a debate with friends. The balance between skepticism and obedience will continue to shift. Skepticism is healthy. It holds power to account. But obedience, when based on trust and a shared sense of purpose, is what allows us to achieve great things together. The future of the European project depends on getting that balance right. Thanks for watching. What are your thoughts on this? Do you feel more connected to your national government or to the EU? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this interesting, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into the issues that shape our world. See you next time.